PathMonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add PathMonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Petit with Liquid Donate, founder and CEO with them. How you doing today, Diz?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Ernesto?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. And well, you did mention a little bit something before the episode, which I'm really excited to hear. And I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what Liquid Donate is all about. So let's kick it off with that. In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. So Liquid Donate is the sustainable solution for excess inventory. Through a simple software integration, we are able to match all of the excess inventory in the world with the schools and nonprofits that need it. And in the past 2 years that we've been in business, we've been able to donate over 10 million items that otherwise would have ended up in the landfill.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. So then that way we could get a good understanding of your company. Who would your clients, or how would you write it down, or if you could sum it up in a way you would, what would be a key problem then that you would solve for, would it be the inventory, the clients that you would say?
Yeah, so on the supply side, it's retailers that we mostly work with. So retailers that have excess inventory sitting in warehouses, maybe they over-purchased items, maybe they had last season's products that they need to get rid of. And right now, the solution for those items is that they send them to the landfill. And we don't really want that to be the case for most retailers. And so the retailers we work with will use our tool to automatically upload all of the products that they have, whether it's in boxes or pallets, truckloads even. And then our system will match those with the nonprofits and schools that need them using our matching algorithm. And then we also coordinate all of the logistics on getting it there. The other thing that retailers have this need for is that 80% of returns end up in the landfill. And so with the costly and expensive, costly to the environment and actually also costly price-wise to the retailer to have a return go from a customer's home back to a warehouse that's usually states away, then they're paying for someone to look at the product, then they're paying for whatever disposition option they'd like, which usually is landfill or resale. Resale is about 20% of the time. In those situations, the retailer's paying about $15 per return on top of the refund just to get that item back, just to throw it in the trash. And so what our system does is we automatically match those products that the retailer doesn't want back at their warehouse. We instantly match them with the nonprofit or school that's closest to that customer that wants it. We instantly produce a shipping label for them and they ship it off to a nonprofit that's in their community versus sending it back to a warehouse where it's ultimately likely to be thrown out. So we solve the problem on the supply side for retailers of excess inventory and returns that they don't want. And we solve a problem on the demand side where we're providing nonprofits and schools with physical in-kind donations that just magically show up and work for their needs.
That's awesome to hear. So then would it be fair to say that you have two types of clients then, right? You have the retailers, and then you would have either nonprofit organizations, or who else would fill in your segment, your vertical?
Yeah, so on the demand side, it's nonprofits and schools that we support.
Okay, perfect. So then someone like Immortal, like me, would I be able to shop, or would I have to be a nonprofit organization?
You would have to be a nonprofit organization if you wanted to shop on the platform. But if you didn't want to donate something, we do have a community platform on our website where you pay a $3 convenience fee, and then your products will be matched with a nonprofit or school. And then you no longer have to go to Goodwill or wherever you are going to drop it off. I mean, everyone has that box sitting in the bottom of their closet of things they've been intending to donate. But we'll either give you a shipping label to ship it to the nonprofit that wants it, or the nonprofit will come pick it up directly from you. So we do have a community platform, but not a core part of our business, but something that is really useful when you're trying to solve a problem on the consumer side.
Definitely. I mean, I would be part of that because spring cleaning is always important. So definitely glad to hear that. All right. Well, and so then how does somebody typically get in contact with you, or how do they find out about Liquid Donate? Is there a top client acquisition channel that you guys have?
Yeah, so with Liquid Donate, the main thing that we do today is do outbound. So we have retailers that we know are a really good fit for our platform, and we know that through a variety of reasons. One way that we know that is that we have a Shopify app, and so any retailer that is using Shopify is a great ICP for us. And so if we go after a customer that is on Shopify with a product that is one, easily shippable, so something like shoes, for example, and something that is likely to be unsellable, which is things like bedding. Those are really great customer profiles for us to go after on the outbound side, because the products that are really easily shippable and unlikely to be resold is really a no-brainer for a retailer to decide to use the Liquid Donate service for. And so we do a lot of outbound, but last week, we had the opportunity to have a booth in the Innovation Lab at NRF, the National Retail Federation's big show. And we got a lot of really great leads from that, had a lot of really great conversations, met and introduced ourselves to a lot of folks. And we have been seeing a very significant increase in inbound leads from that, which we're really excited about. So we're mostly doing outbound, but excited to see our inbound grow because we are a newer company. We've only been around for a little over 2 years.
Definitely, and it's I think that's a part of growing, right? That excitement of growing in a different channel. So awesome to hear that from you guys. And so that way our listeners could find you guys on your website. You can check them out at liquiddonate.com. Gorgeous looking website here it is. What role does the website play for client acquisition then?
I'm sure that the website plays a huge role. I think that having a place where you can go to learn about our solution is really important because we are a first of its kind solution. So I think for companies that are, especially like software and technology companies that are offering something that isn't really standard, not something that, a traditional consumer would be familiar with, your website really has to tell the story of what you do and offer enough information that it gets them interested in actually having a conversation with you. I think a lot of the things that we struggled with early on was like clarity. Like, how are we being like clear about what we do? Because no one else is doing what we're doing in this world. So how do we make sure that we're explaining really well, like, okay, there's a cost savings to this and it's good for the environment. So how do we balance those two messages? And I think we have found that balance on our site now, thanks to the team that has been behind building that. But I think it took a while for us to get there.
Definitely. All right. Awesome to hear that. And was there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend? Like you mentioned, you're getting a lot of inbound now. And when it comes to lead generation then?
Definitely having a demo button on your website. I think that that's really important. I think people see it on a lot of websites where they don't realize like how easily that can drive conversion, because people do want to see a demo. And whether that's a pre-recorded demo that you have, behind like an email address capture form, or a demo form that you just reach out from your sales team, like being able to just quickly book a demo and know that you're only going to spend 10 to 15 minutes learning about it. And then if you're interested as the potential buyer, you can continue the conversation. And if not, you didn't waste too much time.
All right, perfect. Well, let's switch gears a little bit, Diz, and let's talk about you as a leader, you being the co-founder and CEO of Liquid Donate. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Oh my gosh, whatever needs to happen. So on our team, I would say that I am primarily responsible for supporting the sales and the operations teams here. And my co-founder and CTO, Chai, he is doing all things technical, all things engineering and product, and really pushing us forward on that front. So I mostly focus on ops, HR, sales, and everything that isn't about making sure that the product is a delightful experience for the customer.
All right, perfect. Awesome. Great to hear that. So it sounds like, you guys have it separate, but a lot of full plate on your hands, as well as for your other co-founder. But let's jump into our next section here, Diz, and it's our rapid fire question round. So you ready for them?
I hope so.
All right, perfect. First off, what is the last book that you read?
The last book that I read, so I love reading, and I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but I'm going to give a slightly long answer. So I like to rotate between reading a book for pleasure and then a book for work, and a book for pleasure and a book for work. And so the last book I read was on the pleasure side, and it was a book called Paranormality by Richard Wiseman. And it was about the psychology behind why we want to believe in things like magic being real, and like how you can use psychology in order to help find different ways to see things in the world. And I think it's always interesting to get like new and unique perspectives on that. So that was the most recent book I read, and excited to move into my next book, which will be more related to work.
All right, awesome. Great read there for our listeners. Now, next up, what is one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
Revenue generation is the number one focus for a company of our stage and our size.
Okay, perfect. And next is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I think everything. I mean, I think marketing is such a difficult channel to get into and to really understand how all of these things work together. And like, so if I could see into the future, it would be like, what is the next big thing in advertising? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it some other platform that doesn't even exist yet? I think keeping up with all of those things is really challenging. And so I would say something along those lines.
Okay, perfect. Great. Now, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
um, Gosh, am I allowed to say getting people to sign contracts? I think that's the biggest focus for us, is like, how do we actually get in front of all of the right people at the right time with a small team to make it happen.
All right, great. Thank you for that. And well, lastly, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I would say pay attention more to all of the classes and advice that you get on marketing throughout your life. So I did my undergrad in majoring in organizational communication with a focus on PR. And if I had really focused in on that and followed kind of the principles and guidelines more throughout my career, I think I would be better at marketing today. And so now I'm kind of having to go back and relearn some of those things in order to be a good presenter, to be a good podcast guest, to be a good speaker, all of those things that you can be taught in undergrad. If you take advantage of them, you should try to follow them and not forget them by the time you're 34.
Well, you're doing great, so I wouldn't see any issues with that. But great advice for our listeners. Thank you so much for that, Dis. Well, Dis, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
Yeah, so we would love to have folks go to our website, liquiddonate.com, and take a look at what we do and reach out to us there if they have any questions or need for our services.
There, you guys heard it. You could always check them out, like she mentioned, at liquiddonate.com. Dis, thank you so much for being on today's episode. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and looking forward to our next episode at Past Monk Presents. Thanks a lot, Dis.
Yeah, thanks for having me.